Hi, and welcome to David and Erin's Bachelor Review. I am David.
I'm Erin.
And we are going to be discussing Monday's episode of The Bachelor today, in which Ben went to 4 lovely girls' homes and met their families on the hometown dates. And Erin, I don't know if you got the same impression as me, but I think Courtney really redeemed herself in the hometown dates. I thought she looked like more of a person and less like a, yeah.
We got to see some raw emotion from Courtney this week. I, for one, enjoyed it. She's not been my favorite person throughout the entire season. But you're right, she redeemed herself a little bit.
Absolutely, and for those of you that don't watch the show, Courtney has rubbed people the wrong way. She hasn't gotten along with the girls in the house too well, and there's generally a couple people every season that are like that. But I think Courtney, especially this year, being that she's made it so far, is really causing quite a disruption in the show.
She's also had some famous boyfriends in the past. So we have to wonder, is she here for fame, or is she here for love?
That's a very, very good question. In terms of the other contestants, however, I've from the beginning been a very big Lindsay fan. She loves horses and America, sort of like the Tom Petty song says. And, she just seems like an all-around class act girl, and her family seems very nice.
I, for one, have not been a fan of hers ever since the first episode when she rode in on a horse. Really rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I think you're wrong. I think that this girl comes from a great family, and her father has worked very hard, and they've raised a very lovely daughter. And I think that we really have some good chemistry between her and Ben.
No, Nikki is my girl. I like Nikki the best.
Aha. Well, Nikki is very, very different than the rest of them. She has been divorced, and she's gone through a lot. And I do like her, and I'm inclined to like her more, but I just think that she can't get over that divorce so quickly.
She's moved on. I think you need to move on from her divorce as well. She's the most normal one out of all the girls, especially compared to Courtney, who just prefers to skinny dip on all the episodes.
It wasn't all the episodes. However, she is definitely a bit conniving, and I think that could be an issue if they choose to have a relationship, and he does choose to propose to her. So it'll be interesting to see how things unfold, and Erin and I will be back next week with more updates on the extravaganza in Switzerland now, where they will be in the mountains, and big difference from the typical tropical island, huh?
It is.
I wonder how that'll play a factor in all of this.
David, what are your thoughts on Emily being the next Bachelorette?
I'm personally tired of her. I think when she mentioned that she wanted to get out of the limelight for the sake of her daughter, which I think is big, raising your daughter in the limelight like this, her daughter Ricky. Right. I think she should have stayed to it, but to her word. And unfortunately, it seems like she's gotten wrapped up in fame, and I'm afraid that's the person that she's become. Anyways, I think we'll go take a walk outside and see what some of the other TMPers' opinion on The Bachelor. Hi, I'm David Galinsky, and this is John Schock. We will be discussing The Bachelor with John today. And John, between Nikki, Lindsay, and Courtney, who is your pick for Ben?
Lindsay, because I always believe in the Lord.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm here with Whitney. We're all very interested to get her thoughts on The Bachelor. Out of Lindsay, Courtney, and Nikki, who would you most like to date?
Nikki.
Nikki.
Nikki it is. Hi, I'm here with John Elstad. Hi, John.
Hi.
How you doing?
Dave. Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Prepping up for that basketball team?
I've been doing a lot of working out, yeah. Calisthenics.
Well, John is a big, big fan of the Bachelor series, and we wanted to get John's insight on if you were to take 3 girls to one location, you have to choose one of them, where would it be? In the world, anywhere in the world. They're going to Switzerland this year.
Okay.
In the past, they've been to Caribbean islands.
And there's always like a helicopter or an airplane involved, right? That I do know. Not really a huge Bachelor fan.
Sure.
You know where I would go to Fiji? I'd go to Fiji.
That was 2 seasons ago.
See, I'm not that big of a fan. I don't know where they've all been.
You didn't
I can't
see,
use that?
You didn't see season 16 on the Wings of Love. Huh?
I've got it on my Netflix queue, but not live. No.
So Fiji it is. And now in sports, it's Josh Pittman.
What's up, everybody? We'll run down local teams here in sports. On Monday, the Bulls improved their Eastern Conference best record to 26-8 with an 11-point victory over the Atlanta Hawks, and it was relief for all of us Chicagoans. Derrick Rose returned back into the lineup after missing 5 consecutive games with back spasms. Rose led the way for Chicago at 23 points and 6 assists. The Bulls play tonight, which continues their current 6-game homestand at the United Center, and they're going to welcome the Milwaukee Bucks to the Madhouse, who they've already beat twice this season. The Blackhawks were back in action last night, and the Hawks had the middle of their 3-game homestand with a big matchup against Western Conference leading and NHL leading Detroit. After falling behind 1-0 in the first period, the Hawks roared back with a goal in the second, a goal in the third to defeat the Red Wings 2-1, and continue to hold on to the number 6 seed in the Western Conference. The Blackhawks have been playing very well lately with 4 straight regulation victories, including outscoring the opponents 15-5 over that stretch. Chicago again plays tomorrow night at the United Center, and they welcome the Dallas Stars into town. Everybody's getting ready for spring training and baseball season to start up. Spring training gets underway in Mesa, Arizona for the Cubs. There's considerable buzz around the Cubs this year with the addition of new president of baseball operations, Theo Epstein, and his main focus will be to turn the team into a viable competitor in the NL Central this year. The team was 20 games below 500 last season, finishing 5th in the division, and the main team questions include which pitchers will be in the rotation and which ones will be in the bullpen, defensive alignment, and resolving Starlin Castro's off-season issues. For the White Sox, we have a lot of White Sox fans around the office here. They're going to be starting up in Glendale, Arizona, as former All-Star and Red White Sox player Robin Ventura takes over the management duties for Ozzie Guillen. White Sox finished 3rd in the AL Central last season and are expected to be more competitive in the division this year. The AL Central saw the addition of slugger Prince Fielder come over from the Brewers to the Tigers, so the AL Central should be just as competitive as it was last year, if not more. Main questions for the White Sox is the transition behind the plate from A.J. Pierzynski to Tyler Flowers, bullpen positioning, and who the White Sox can count on in their rotation with losing Mark Burley. We'll continue to provide week-by-week sports updates on all of our favorite Chicago teams. We got Josh and Dave back here with the TMP News, and we're interviewing one of the favorite managers in the office, Todd Mason, this year. And all right, we'll get right into the interview. The first question for Todd is, what are some of the elements that make a successful media analyst?
Great question. Thorough. They have to be thorough. They have to be willing to explore. They have to have a good understanding of the digital landscape, and I think most importantly, they have to be analytical. It is an analytical job, after all.
Very good. And on to the second question here, Todd, is what are the important elements of a successful TMP social event?
Attendance, I think, would be a good place to start. What would you define as a social event, like a gathering outside of work?
So yeah, or happy hours, or the Super Bowl mixer type thing, or
yeah, attendance. You need people to show up, and you need a good variety of people. You need maybe people that don't hang out that often outside of work, because I think it gives people things to talk about. It allows people that don't typically hang out to get the chance to know each other, and that always makes for fun times, right? But I don't know. I'm a parent in the suburbs. What's fun?
Well, speaking of the suburbs, you're from Barrington, correct? You live in Barrington?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, and I know it's a very big culinary town. We were wondering of the best restaurants in Barrington, who has the best foie gras pâté? Is it Red Robin, Applebee's, or Chili's?
I've never been to the Applebee's or Chili's in my neighborhood. I've gone to the Red Robin.
There we go. All right.
And it's disgusting. Yeah, there's no pad thai, nor is Barrington a culinary center.
All right. We'll end the interview with a relatively serious question here again. Todd, in the overall process of campaign manager reporting, how important have a rate formula has been in streamlining campaign management reporting?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I would say extremely important. I without a ray, I don't know where we would be.
All right, we heard from the man himself. We want to thank Todd for the great interview, and hopefully we'll have another manager.
And now we're sitting down with Fred to get some of his thoughts on our featured manager of the week. Fred, where do you think Todd goes when he works from home so often?
I think he's actually watching MMA, mixed martial art events at a bar somewhere in Naperville.
We're with Mike Jones, Mike Jonesy Jones. Mike, we just got on, we just talked to Todd, and he mentioned that he does not like red... Jonesy. All right. Todd said he does not like Red Robin. Can you provide us your insight on, Red Robin and what you feel, is so great about it?
What's Red Robin?
All right, now we're over with Mike Gresher. We're finishing up our featured manager of the week questions. And Gresh, what do you think about Todd's fashion sense?
Generally a very good dresser. He does love jorts. He won't tell you that outright, but I kind of have a personal grudge against Todd when it comes to fashion because he made me the poster boy of Kohl's recently, and we have a picture from David Galinsky to prove it, so I can't be honest about it. You'll have to ask somebody else.
This here is Chewy. Not long ago he was abducted. The culprit of being this young lady right here. What caused her to do this? What caused her to take this young Wookiee and make a mockery out of him?